You know what really grinds my gears? Everything. Well, yeah, almost. But what really grinds my gears is when people say that they don't talk about politics. Now, politics to most people is just a general election or what might happen in your local community with voting for different politicians, but this is not where politics ends. Politics is what affects our everyday lives. It's the fact that we don't really have that much control over our own lives because we must succumb to waking up every morning and going to work, to a job that most of us don't really enjoy. And if we don't have that job or we decide to quit, there are consequences. And the vast majority of us have to go to these jobs in order to survive. The very act of feeding ourselves, of having shelter over our heads at night, the vast majority of it comes from consuming. Politics is when these politicians have meetings with their corporate donors, these corporations that have given them literally millions of dollars to get them elected. These corporations make sure that these bills that are trying to be passed have these little inserts that you don't really know about because it's on page like 1012, the page that nobody really gets to. But when these bills are voted on and they're passed, then these corporations get these tremendous things that they have been asking for. If you haven't heard about ALEC, I would really recommend researching the American Legislative Exchange Council. Corporations and individuals that are involved in this organization, they are the ones that control so many aspects of our lives. You know, so politics is not just what happens in Washington or what happens in your state capital. Politics is when you have done absolutely nothing wrong and you are stopped on your way home from school or work, or your entire group of friends is stopped because you have black or brown skin, and you are being stopped and frisked from the ages of 12 or 13 because these officers think that you fit a description. Politics is officers being able to say they feared for their life and not seeing a shred of accountability. Politics is when they want to put body cameras on police that expands the surveillance state. And we have video right now of hundreds of murders by the police, and they're being shown and nothing is happening to them. They are still not being held accountable. This is politics. Politics is over 2.3 million people in prison. Politics is over 4.7 million people being supervised on parole. Politics is after these people have served their sentences, they're still not able to vote. Politics is making sure that districts get gerrymandered so it favors certain politicians over others. Politics is when the youth have been given DACA status and yet are still targeted and being deported when they have been here in the United States for decades. When this is the only home that they know and they came over as a baby or a very young child and they were granted that status, and now under Trump they're being deported even though they are supposed to be safe. Politics is when a group of people, and the vast majority of them being older white men, are trying to decide what women can and cannot do with their own bodies. They're trying to decide via law what it is that we have the right to do or not to do. Politics is when a wealthy white male is caught in the act of raping a woman and sees a few months in jail or some community service, versus a black woman who was being physically assaulted by her husband, shooting a warning shot at the wall to stun him and to get him off of her long enough for her to escape, and then being convicted and going to prison for years because She was trying to defend her own life. That is politics. These are all politics. Politics is so much more than just going to a ballot box. So when people say that they don't talk about politics, it's just gut-wrenching because it exudes amount of privilege that you don't even understand that you have. It exudes privilege in a way that says, I am not affected by any of this. I don't know anybody or love anybody that's affected by any of this. So I'm just not going to talk about it because, you know, it is what it is. And that is just mind-boggling. I finally started to understand in 2011 what it is that people are going through. And as soon as I started to figure this out, I said, there is no way in hell that I can stand back and not say anything or not do anything about this. These atrocities are occurring every single day. They are affecting me as a woman. They are affecting people that I love and care about. It is heightened more under a Trump administration, but let's not for 1 second think that this wasn't happening under Obama, think that this wasn't happening under the presidents before him, think that these things haven't been happening for centuries, for the entire existence of the United States of America. These things that are happening are affecting millions of people, and they're not just affecting people here in the United States. Politics is also this camera that I have, these, you know, electronics, these things that we consume. People in other countries are having to mine for the minerals that are inside these electronics that we have. Do you fully understand where it is that your products that you consume are coming from? You don't think about the fact that there is an actual person that is basically enslaved, if not completely enslaved, making these things for us. And this is politics. These things need to be talked about. They don't want us talking about it because when we talk about it, more people start to really get the full scope of things and really start to internalize it and understand. So when you say, I don't talk politics, or I don't like to get into politics, what you're really saying is, I don't really care about your life or the life of the people that, you know, these policies and these laws and this country and this world are oppressing. I don't want to think about it, you know, and I'm just comfortable here doing my own thing. That's privilege. And don't get this confused with having to take a mental break, because holy shit, I completely understand having to just try to take a mental break. But let us also realize that not everybody can take that mental break. You know, that is a privilege in and of itself as well. So YouTubers and people on social media, they call us influencers for a reason. We have these amazing platforms that we're able to use to voice our opinions and voice our feelings and, you know, bring entertainment. And not everybody has to talk about everything, but everybody can talk about something. And you can be funny and entertaining 99% of the time. But if you want a new challenge video, I challenge you to this. I challenge you to talk about a subject of injustice that is really important to you. And if you don't have one yet, I suggest you find something, because there are so many subjects out there. I challenge you to find one and to research it and to talk about it with your viewers and to really try to help bring about change in this insane world that we live in. Shout out to the ones who are already doing amazing things. Shout out to Jerome and everybody that is bringing tons and tons of food and water to Somalia, and to other people who are doing other amazing things and using this platform and your viewers and your influence to affect positive, loving change. I shout out to you 100 million times, and you are exactly the type of people that I am so excited to share this platform with. So until next time, remember that courage is contagious, and go and question everything. I leave you with revolutionary love.